What's the first thing you think of when you think of the word mercy? Do you think of that song? Oh, mercy, mercy me. That's what I think of. That's what I think of. Do you think of being at somebody's mercy? Once my brother John took every pillow in the house and he threw it into a walk-in closet and then shoved my sister Kathleen and me in there, and then he proceeded to turn off the lights and force his way in. He was trying to simulate that scene from Star Wars of the trash compactor, I think. So that was my first utterance, I think, of the word mercy, right? 8 years ago, I had to play my mom, Virginia Croddick, in the Navasine Country Club 9-hole club championship. Where are you, Mom? I was 8 months pregnant with my daughter, Virginia, and it had rained, like today, it had rained torrentially the night before, and so we couldn't use any carts. So my mom made me walk in the scalding heat, and she beat me. That day, Ginny showed me no mercy. And then I changed her name in my phone contacts from Mom to Virginia Croddick. I'm kidding. I love you, Mom. Growing up, my father had each of his 5 children work in the cosmetic and perfume factories that he owned in Edison, New Jersey. I came home each day of the summer smelling like a perfume counter at the mall, but I learned how to speak excellent Spanish with my Latina coworkers. I also learned that in September, I could go back to school, but my coworkers could not. They were working for a better education for their children, as were my parents, as am I. I watched my father, John Croddick, grow a business, hire and know each and every name of nearly 1,000 employees, and then it grew and grew and grew, down to the forklift operators. I watched him distribute 20-pound turkeys to his workers on Thanksgiving and dress up as Santa and give bonuses by hand. He's hating this. He doesn't like the attention at all. I can see it. My dad always, and likely still does, has a cardboard box of perfume in his trunk, in the trunk of his car, to give to somebody that he appreciates. P.S. He's driving a black Mercedes, which is down in the parking lot if you need any product. You see, aren't I right, Marietta, doesn't he? He always does, right? You see, I learned mercy by watching it in action. And I wanted to imitate my father. So, what is mercy? When asked, my children said, kindness, generosity. But it goes beyond that, right, doesn't it? Mercy? The conditions of mercy require being in a position to do nothing and choosing to do something. St. John Paul II goes even farther. He says that mercy places a limitation on evil. I think that's just so huge. In the story told by Jesus, 2 people are walking, and they walk by a beaten up guy on a stranger on the side of the road. He'd been attacked and robbed, right? It's not that the 2 that passed weren't holy or God-fearing, observant Jews. They were, right? They were on their way where? They were on their way up to Jerusalem to worship in the temple. If they had stopped and encountered the blood of this beaten man, they'd be considered ritually unclean. And they wouldn't have been able to go to the temple. And that was the whole purpose of their trip, right, of their journey. What they didn't realize was that in observing the law with such great precision, that they were passing up the opportunity to encounter the face of God in another. And Jesus illustrates that encounter with God is in others. See where I'm going with this? Especially those in need. Indeed, in all of Jesus' teaching ministry, he only once discusses the criterion for heaven. Really, only once. What is it? Does anyone remember? The sheep and the goats. You have 1 minute to finish your acrostics. The sheep, who the master said had fed and clothed and visited the master, asked confusedly, wait, we never saw you. We never did this for you. And the master says, what? Whenever you did it to the littlest, to the most vulnerable, to the most in need, to the most beaten up, bloody, lonely, addicted, innocent, mentally ill, unwanted, left to die soul, You did it to me. The righteous men on the road to Jerusalem passed by. They didn't want to get involved, but you did. You responded to the invitation today, right? You stopped. You came. In a tsunami, you came, right? You set aside time to encounter God in these girls. And in doing so, you have shown God's face and God's mercy today. And if you experience a hard to articulate sense of joy in doing so, that's grace. That's the intangible divine gift that affirms that each of you is so very pleasing to the one Jesus taught to call our Heavenly Father, whose will is love and mercy itself.